Good morning, everyone. This is Manjeet Rawat, your online instructor, and today we are here to understand about the concept of Azure migration. As we are aware about, Azure is a most common and important cloud platform in the entire world that contains up to more than 10,000 services that fulfill the all requirement of every organization. I'm not talking about related to the IT industry. Every non-IT organization can also set up their resources over a Microsoft Azure portal to enhance productivity. Today, I'm going to guide you about the concept of end-to-end Azure migration. I will try to give you the complete information, all the steps that will help you to move your on-premises resources to Microsoft Azure portal with all prerequisites and precautions. You know that Azure can give us option to prepare ourselves for Azure Virtual Desktop. We can prepare ourselves for Azure Architect and Administrator. But this is the common topic which is applicable for all the types of certification. Even if you are going for any Azure interview, then definitely interviewer will ask you question. Do you have idea about how we can migrate the services from on-premises to Azure, or from Amazon to Azure, or from Google Cloud to Azure? In this video, we are going to talk about on-premises migration, but later on, I'll definitely help you how we can migrate our resources, our virtual machines that we established over a AWS portal and move to the Microsoft Azure. The very first step that you need to keep in your mind before set up your Azure migration, you must need to clear about the hardware configuration that required. Because in case of on-premises migration, like you decided to move your on-premises virtual machines that you established using VMware ESXi, are the virtual machines that you established with the help of hypervisor, you should clear about the setup that we need to prepare for the migration. So our agenda is clear, like this is our Microsoft Azure portal, right? This is MS Azure portal, and we establish our on-premises ESXi host. Let's take an example, ESXi host. You know very well about ESXi is basically a product of VMware. All right. So number of virtual machines that you created on-premises and number of VMB established, right? And you can also perform with the physical migration, like if any kind of resources that you establish physically, definitely you can migrate from on-premises to cloud. And this is our on-premises infrastructure, means you are responsible to take care everything like power supply, internet connectivity, everything we are responsible to take care. And our agenda is to move these virtual machines from on-premises to Microsoft Azure portal, right? So what are the things that we need to prepare before proceed to install, configure our Azure migration? Very first step, you must need to use Azure subscription. Your subscription must be live. And second, prepare your network. The meaning of prepare your network, it means that you need to set up your own kind of VNet. Yes, you need to set up your virtual network over a portal with security. And number third, open Microsoft Azure Migrate feature. You will find over a Azure portal, you just need to open search and type Azure Migrate. It will redirect you on the page where we can perform all the types of migration, because you know that Azure portal is a core dynamic portal. Dynamic in the sense means there lots of engineers are working in the back end and trying to understand. Definitely Azure also as a design a dedicated R&D team who responsible to understand the market requirement, and as per the market requirement they are doing lots of changes over a portal. Dynamic in the sense, for example, today I'm going to show you the options which are available in Azure Migrate. Maybe 5 to 6 different options are available. Maybe within 15 days or 20 days you will find more features over a Microsoft Azure Migrate portal or Azure Migrate option. So that's why it's considered as a this is a core dynamic cloud platform. So second, you need to open Azure Migrate, and number next, what you need to do, create project. Yes, you will find the option of create project, and in the project decide the type of migration. Yes, what you want to migrate, type of migration. So we already decided we are going to move our on-premises virtual machines, right, on-prem VMs to cloud or to Microsoft Azure. So this is our agenda, because on the same project you will find the option to migrate virtual machines from Google Cloud or Microsoft Amazon Web Services to Microsoft Azure, but our agenda to move our VMs from on-premises to cloud. And next, prepare your setup. Yes, this is really important. Prepared setup for migration. So in case of prepared setup for migration, you can establish or you can set up your migration infrastructure using two different methods. OVA file, which is applicable for VMware, ESXi, and the second option, you can also set up your migration. You can also set up migration with the help of hypervisors. So these two things required from Microsoft Azure. And what about on-premises? In case of on-premises, you should configure one high configuration based machine. Yes, dedicated system with good configuration, like minimum, not minimum, you can say that 32 GB of RAM. This is mandatory, and 6 core of processor, and number third, minimum 60 GB free hard disk space. Yes, sorry, 80 GB free hard disk space in your operating system drive. So these all are the prerequisites. I'm going to show you the all steps, because the most important part, you should download one OA file, and the capacity of OA file, if you decided to migrate your resources from on-premises or physical machine from on-premises to cloud. So the OA file, the capacity of OA file is approximately 12.0 GB, but I have already downloaded, but I'll show you the steps. I'm moving myself. This is my on-premises workstation that I established, and the configuration of this machine is 32 GB of RAM and Core i5 processor, 14th generation, and we have enough space in C drive, and directly connected with Ethernet cable, so we don't have any issues related to the internet connectivity. So this is our Microsoft Azure portal, and let me show you the type of subscription that I'm using. So let me open the page of subscription. This is my Visual Studio subscription that provided by Microsoft as a compliment, because I'm MCT, so I have access of $150 every month for next 12 months, right? So just need to open the page and type Azure Migrate, right? So Azure Migrate is a dedicated service. You just need to open this particular wizard, and it will help you for all the types of migration. Currently I'm talking about only related to the on-premises, but you can set up your project for all the types of migration. Let me show you. Click on all projects. Unfortunately, I haven't set up any kind of project, that because I decided to give you the all steps. Click on create projects and select any kind of any type of resource group that you created earlier, and going to use Azure-migration. Guys, this is case sensitive. You need to take care everything that required in case of you are going to delete it or modify. So make sure you are going to use same keywords that you are trying to use to create your project. So I'm going to establish a project with name of class migration, and your location is Asia Pacific, so not an issue, because I'm going to set up my virtual machines using ESXi with the help of in the location of Asia Pacific. Please click create, and it will take up to 3 to 5 minutes to get your project is ready to use. And after that, it will show you what types of migration tasks you can manage with the help of this project, because the project will allow us to find the way to migrate your resources, migrate your services from one platform to another platform, from on-premises to cloud. Now our class-migration project is ready to use, and let me open it, and it will give you option to perform the migration activity. Okay, all right, so this is the panel, and here we can find multiple options. So let me show you the another options. Explore inventory. So unfortunately we haven't performed anything, so that's why no options are available in inventory, because whatever migration task that you are going to complete, you will find the information of your successfully migrated services in the inventory part, right? Manage option is also available, but most of the options or features are grayed out because we haven't performed any migration. This is documentation panel where we can find the document how to migrate the services, right? Apart from this, click on the explore more, and that will provide you features. Those features can allow us to migrate our resources. Web application, any kind of applications that you establish on premises, and now you decided to move to the Microsoft Azure platform as a services. Proceed with this way. File, application and code assessment. You can also establish, like, let's take an example. You created your VDI infrastructure using on premises, right? Using Horizon, VMware Horizon, you establish your on premises VDI setup, and now you decided to move with the Azure Virtual Desktop. Please proceed with this template, right? Data box, Azure Storage Mover, and applications options is also available. But we decided, I don't want to store, like, migrate to storage. We decided to perform a separate type of migration. So click on overview. We are going to perform all the tasks manually, and click on start discovery. Multiple options are available using Appliance. Do you want to migrate your on-premises services with the help of Appliance, using collector, using import options? So all three methods allow us to migrate our VMware services from on-premises to cloud. So I'm going to perform bulk migration, right? Number of virtual machines that I decided to move from on-premises to cloud. And this is one-time setup that you need to perform. No need to do it again and again. You just need to make your project ready. Class migration project is ready, and now you can use the same project multiple time, again and again, for the migration, right? So yes, I'm going to use Appliance for Azure. For Azure local, definitely let me proceed with Azure, not Azure local. And here, what type of infrastructure that you are going to use to establish your migration setup? I'm going with the VMware vSphere hypervisor, right? Because I have all ISO images, like the ESXi 8.0, so we'll use our on-premises hypervisor. Select, and it will give us option to create a name of your key. I'm going to use same name as a key, right? So do not use any special character. Class migration, and this is case sensitive, and you need to generate this particular key. But before that, please download your file. Do you want to set up your migration lab with the help of hypervisor? If you want to proceed with hypervisor, just 500 MB zip file required, and in the zip file you will find multiple commands, PowerShell command, and you need to execute that command on premises Hyper-V machine, and your setup will be ready to use. And second option is the core manual method, that you need to download one OVA file and deploy on your ESXi host that you establish on premises, or you can directly deploy with VMware Workstation. So I am going to proceed with VMware vSphere because with the OVA file, because it will help you a lot. It will give you most of the options to configure our migration setup in GUI format. So let me proceed, and we need to establish our virtual machine with the good configuration, 32 GB of memory, 8 core of processor, and minimum 80 GB hard disk required in C drive. So generate your key, class migration. So I'm going to click on generate. I have already downloaded. See, I have already downloaded OVA file with capacity of 12.0, and let me deploy the same OVA file with my VMware Workstation that I established on premises. Back to on premises, and let me open. We have a two different method to deploy this OVA file. You can directly deploy your OVA file using VMware Workstation, and in the production environment, you always go with the ESXi. So let me check, download, right click, and open in VMware Workstation. You can directly open with VMware Workstation. It's a complete pre-configured virtual machine. The OVA file is basically pre-configured virtual machines. Class migration, and make sure your location of VHD file should be means you have a good space in CSV in the C drive. So I'm going to use my C drive that contain up to 99 GB free hard disk space. So let me put my OA file location in C drive. Importing class migration. So class migration is a type of, you can say that, pre-configured virtual machine. Yes, this is a pre-configured virtual machine. This is in progress and you have to wait for a few more minutes. So I'm going to pause it to once our virtual machine is ready to use, we'll proceed for the next. Okay, now we successfully deployed our OA file that we downloaded from Microsoft Azure Migrate feature. And let me check the configuration, because the configuration that I'm able to see, it's a 32 GB of RAM, 80 gig hard drive. I don't have any issues related to the space, but let me make some changes, because maybe it will create, because the total capacity of my base machine is 32 GB. So let me put it on 16 GB, and 4 core is enough, because my processor is enough to take care the all workload with 4 core. And you need to turn on, right? This is a complete Server 2022 virtual machine with all prerequisites that help us to migrate with Microsoft Azure services. Let me restart, because we just activated. Maybe we need to make some changes, and after that we'll restart it again. Okay, so virtual machine is working properly. I just restarted and make some changes with the hardware, and now we are on the page where we need to set up our password for your VM, because this is not a normal virtual machine that contains all prerequisites and softwares that help us to migrate our resources from on-premises to cloud. So I configured my on password and mandatory to install VMware tools, as we discussed before. Like whenever we establish any kind of VM or any server that you are going to set up with the VMware workstation, mandatory to install VMware tools, because the VMware tool considered as a collection of multiple drivers, right? So it required restart, and after that we'll log in it and install VMware tools. Log in with the help of same password that we configured. Right click on your VM and click on update VMware tools. Internet must be accessible for this VM, because we established using VMware workstation, so it's mandatory to make sure you have access of internet on this machine, because all the tasks that we are going to perform for migration, that we can manage with the help of only internet connectivity. Wait, we just need to install VMware driver first, because this is mandatory. Next, and we are able to access internet, because see, we are able to see the icon. Finish. I will install restart it later, and we just need to open this particular page. So guys, this is the panel that help us to perform the migration, right? And we already downloaded or created one key. See, this is the key, project key that we created, generated from the Microsoft Azure Migrate project. Going back, and I agree the term and license, and the first important part, you need to configure everything. Do you want to set up any kind of proxy? It's up to you. You just need to protect your environment with the help of proxy. I don't want to make any changes on this particular page, right? So here we need to copy and paste the VMware appliance key. I'm just going to download, copy it from Azure migrate project option and paste here. Please verify. Okay, do one thing. Let me restart because I just installed our VMware workstation, VMware tools. So it's mandatory because we are not able to get the access of internet properly. Okay, so now what you need to do, you just need to double click on Azure Appliance Migration. So you can proceed with multiple way. You can install a dedicated browser because all the tasks that we are going to perform that require a dedicated browser. So always try to use Microsoft Edge because this is also a product of Microsoft. So will give us some more features and we can easily utilize the all features of our web page, right? So it's loading. It will check all the prerequisites that required proxy. So not an issue. Let me set up proxy. And second, we need to verify the project key. Let me copy the project key again from portal. Okay, guys. So before proceed to set up this appliance on any VMware workstation or ESXi, because this OA file is applicable for both the platform, right? If you don't have access of ESXi host, so you need to just install VMware workstation and deploy your OA file, and you will get the access of this machine, right? And your machine must be connected with the internet. Minimum 40 to 50 Mbps internet speed required, and it will automatically redirect you on Microsoft Edge browser, and you can also use Google Chrome. It's totally depend upon us. And we successfully completed the connectivity between your machine and Azure portal. And second is time synchronization also working properly. And now it's time to verify, right? The key that we are able to find over a Microsoft Azure migrate tool, we just need to copy this product key and back to the same page, and now I'm going to paste here, and let's verify, because this is important kind of prerequisite to perform the migration, any kind of migration that you want to perform. So this is really important to verify your appliance with the portal, right? That contains lots of information for the verification services. So let's wait for a few more minutes and make sure internet connectivity must be strong, no ping fail, because you're performing a task of you're performing a kind of big task, right? Migration using third parties are very simple. You just need to decide source and destination. But migration, if you're performing the task with the help of built-in services that provided by Microsoft, which is that required multiple steps and multiple prerequisites as well. So verification of Azure migration key is succeeded. Now it means that, right, your migrate project that you created over a portal and your on-premises appliance, the OA file that you deployed, both are able to communicate to each other, right? And we successfully registered this on-premises machine to Microsoft Azure migrate service, and it will take time. Lots of agents required to install in the backend. So it will take 5 more minutes, and after that lots of steps required to perform the task. Then we are going to log in our Microsoft Azure admin portal on this page for verification, and then few prerequisites also required, and then we'll move to the next step. Not a kind of final step, but you can say that few more settings required for the validation. It will guide you everything, like what are the prerequisites that you need to keep in your mind while setup, and multiple links are available, and these links can also help you a lot to set up our migration. This is in progress, so I'm just going to pause the video, because you know that migration required up to 1 hour 25 minutes to complete everything. I'm going to pause it, and once it's ready, I'll show you again. You have to wait up to 5 minutes, and after that it will redirect you on the page of login, where we need to authorize our root account of Microsoft Azure. So let me log in for the verification. So I'm going to use, this is our device code. Okay, let me copy it, that required, paste here, and next. You should approve with the root account. Fine. So now our like the portal and on-premises appliance that we install connected to each other, and now you can access your PowerShell on your appliance, and you can execute any command. So I'm going back to refresh because we just authorize our user ID and password. This is my root account, and also authorized with the password and authenticating code. Again, you have to wait up to 10 minutes because this is really important, and you know that we are not using any kind of third party application. We are trying to migrate our on-premises resources, our virtual machines, with the help of without third party applications. So definitely it required more prerequisites, it required more steps, and you have to wait as well. So 10 minutes, you need to wait up to 10 minutes, and after that we'll complete our first prerequisite steps, and after that manage credential and discovery source. So we'll move to the next point, and then provide vCenter server details. So vCenter server, you need to set up a vCenter server, and according to that we can proceed. All right, so I'm going to pause the video and let's proceed for the next.